Decades after 9/11. In Afghanistan, America's devastating defeat.
The Taliban have taken control of the nation.
And at home, distrust and division. 4 presidents, the decisions, the mistakes, the consequences. Now, drawing on years of frontlines reporting, America after 9/11.
If you're just joining us, you probably already know the World Trade Center towers, the Twin Towers, the New York landmarks have collapsed and are gone.
9/11.
This is huge. This is huge.
America attacked.
Apparently, we're also...
Claire, let me interrupt you for a second. We now have fire confirmed at the Pentagon.
In Washington, D.C., fear.
The State Department has now been evacuated. The White House has been evacuated. The Capitol has been evacuated.
Just not the place to be.
The U.S. Capitol, a target.
The American public was really not prepared for the idea of an attack on American soil.
It is surrealistic, but at the same time, it is one of the darkest days in America.
When 9/11 happened, I think it was very easy for people to understand, even at that moment, that we were embarking upon a new era in American history.
By evening, the nation's leaders began to react.
It is almost impossible to imagine that sort of scene occurring today, with members from both sides of the aisle coming together in song, putting country over party at a moment of crisis.
There are prominent Republicans and prominent Democrats. And it was a real gesture of the sense that we were going to find something within ourselves that would rise above it and would pull us together.
After September 11th, we all are willing to go to war as one against this yet-to-be-seen enemy that is so far away from us.
We had a great sense of mission at the time. The American people had a great sense of patriotism. We experienced domestic unity like we never experienced before.
But in America's response to 9/11, through 3 presidencies, a chain of unintended consequences. Growing anger, mistrust, division, and ultimately, the Capitol, again a target.
The January 6th insurrection at the Capitol was the logical endpoint of the 9/11 era. When you have people who can't trust institutions anymore, who are angry that the wars that they were promised great victories in didn't turn out well, they start to look for people to blame.
A lot of people felt they had been lied to. It's no wonder that you would have so much anger, a sense of betrayal, a sense of frustration, particularly among those who served in the military during this period of endless wars. It would have to be there.
We went over to Iraq and Afghanistan to change those societies, to make them more like us. We had great faith in democracy. And yet, 20 years later, when you look at where America is today, it's almost as if America has become more like them.
Who are we, and what do we want to do as a nation? We answered that question too simply on 9/11. We're the good guys. And 20 years later, we found out that we are the enemy. That the biggest national security threat facing the United States is internal. And it has grown partly as a result of American leadership failures over the last 20 years since 9/11.
September 11th. It was a tragedy that changed everything. In the aftermath, American presidents were called to action, leading the country through decades of conflict that left a legacy few foresaw. Values compromised. Truth trampled. Trust eroded. Solidarity broken. And wars abroad and at home.
If we look at January 6th as one measure of where we are as a nation, did bin Laden succeed in some way in fundamentally dividing us and bringing pain to us in ways that we couldn't see at the time? If we don't take a proper accounting of what we did in these past 20 years and what the impact has been, not just half a world away, but what the impact has been within our own borders, then we have fundamentally misunderstood the legacy of 9/11.
It's time to end America's longest war. It's time for American troops to come home.
The significance of Biden's decision is that we have given up. We do not believe that we can win there, and we don't believe we should try. The last 20 years has been an exercise in failure.
Let's be frank, it's a failure. They are leaving Afghanistan and they can't say mission accomplished.
At one level, you could say, yes, at last, it's been 20 years, these forever wars had to end. But at another level, the war doesn't end.